Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, the 1 peso increase in jeepney base fare takes effect today, but with soaring fuel prices, groups continue to appeal to suspend the fuel excise tax. And later, 2 senators are now forging the Senate minority bloc. How can the Senate maintain its independence under a Marcos presidency? Senator Koko Pimentel joins us live. Commuters will now have to pay a little bit more for jeepney rides beginning today. The LTFRB has approved a temporary 1 peso jeepney fare hike in Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, and Mimaropa. That's as fuel prices continue to go up. Transport groups have been calling for the fare hike for several months now because of the spike in fuel costs. Transport groups even appealed for a 50% excise tax cut from fuel products. Meanwhile, in other news, Senator Risa Ontiveros says she and Senator Koko Pimentel are forging a true Senate minority bloc. How will this play out in the 19th Congress? Let's go straight to the source of this story. We have Senator Koko Pimentel. Senator Pimentel, welcome back to the source. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Salamat din po sa pag-imbita sa akin. Magandang umaga sa lahat, Pinky, and of course, advance happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. So I want to start first with a minimum fare increase, the base from 9 pesos to 10 pesos na pinayagan na po ito ng LTFRB beginning today. Well, number one, do you support this? And if so, do you think this is enough?
I support anything to help our struggling workers and small entrepreneurs. Whether this is enough, they have to give feedback, yung mga apektado po, yung mga drivers po ng ating jeepneys, because I'm sure may time lag yun yung between the petition and the approval of the petition, and then may nangyari na in between. Pwedeng tumaas pa, mas tumaas pa po yung presyo ng diesel or ng gasolina. So, magbigay sila kaagad ng feedback para maka-adjust po ulit ang ating mga regulatory agencies.
You know, this was denied. The appeal of the provisional increase was denied, if I'm not mistaken, March or April. They filed a motion for reconsideration, and this was approved yesterday. So technically, it took about 2 to 3 months for them to reverse their earlier decision. Do you think that in spite of, despite what we're seeing, the increase in fuel prices since January, do you think that the LTFRB has been siguro present, available, and open to the plight of the PUV drivers?
Or more sensitive? Yes, they should have been more sensitive. So that's why sabi ko nga, I'm sure may time lag yan. So yun na nga yun. So the petition for this amount was asked for 2 to 3 months ago, and then ngayon lang nag-grant. So iba na po sitwasyon ngayon. And lumala. And I think pataas. May prediction na abot pa nga ng sana hindi mangyari Sana hindi mangyari. But I have encountered a prediction $150 per barrel. Yun. So siguro the LTFRB and then the other regulatory agencies should not be too formal anymore. No, if there is a petition or a cry for help to increase transportation fares or other benefits or other prices being regulated, they should take, parang ang tawag dyan, judicial notice na yan They should take, since they're quasi-judicial bodies, they should take quasi-judicial notice of what is happening in the world. Yung gera sa Ukraine, yung epekto sa oil prices, hindi na po kailangan i-petition yan. Pwede na pong i-research yan.
Are you saying, Senator, that would it be wiser? I think the word I was trying to look for a while ago, which escaped me, was should they be more responsive? Yun po yung gusto kong tanungin. Are you saying,
Correct.
Coming off from what you were talking about, dapat ho ba meron ng nakikitang siguro price range by which pag umabot ng ganitong presyo ang bawat litro ng diesel ay dapat ganito na ang magiging minimum fare, hindi yung pag may tumaas, bumaba, magdadagdag, tatanggalin po yung provisional increase. Is there a better way really to be able to be more responsive to the plight of the PUV drivers?
Pwede din yung suggestion mo. It's more long-term actually, but it's more rigid. No? It's more rigid if you come up with a table. Siguro ang panawagan na lang natin sa ating regulatory bodies is to be more sensitive, more responsive, more proactive, and also get information from many available reputable sources. Wag na yung maghintay pa ng they should wait for another formal petition. Siguro they can make an adjustment in the existing petitions or cases before them, taking quasi-judicial notice of facts on the ground, diba? Like the price per barrel of oil. So ganun po, sana ganun po, and I'm sure siguro yun ang challenge natin sa kanila, and then sila na po ang mag-isip ng paraan. They can adopt your earlier proposal for a graduated scale, or they can not adopt a table or a graduated scale, but then be proactive. Issue ng issue po ng mga amended ruling in order to react to changes of the real situation.
If we look at the prices of diesel and gas, it's about, more or less 80. It ranges from about 80 pesos, no? In the first 2 days of trading this week, prices in the world market again increased. So while we're not sure what's going to happen on Tuesday next week, kung tataas o bababa ang presyo, mukhang masyado pang unstable yung presyo ngayon. So government, as you know, of course, sir, provided what is supposed to be 6,500 pesos na ayuda para sa mga drivers, no? And nandun din po yung service contracting ng mga public utility vehicles. Bilang senador, and sinasabi mo nga kailan proactive at responsive po, do you think these measures are actually really enough to cushion the impact of the rising fuel prices? First, I'm going to go, sir, to the public utility vehicle drivers, and then I want to go to the general public. Sa kanila po muna, sapat na ho ba yung 6.5 na ayuda in 2 tranches at yung, another program is the service contracting?
Yung service contracting kasi swerte ka pag ikaw ang matap, di ba? If you're the driver or operator who has been tapped. So, but I'm sure not all drivers, all vehicles can be tapped. Kasi otherwise, ano na yun, that's really back to normal. So, at least natulungan yung those who have been tapped. Pero yung pagdating doon sa ayuda, meron kasing fixed amount yan, and you divide it by all the transportation, in all those involved in the transportation sector na kasama dyan ang jeepney drivers, kasama din dyan dapat din ang bus drivers, and even the tricycle drivers. So, marami akong kausap na TODA sa Marikina City, for example, ang sabi nila sa akin, wala pa silang natatanggap. So yun, so hindi na nga enough actually yung 6,500, hindi pa rin maibibigay yun sa lahat. So yan po ang dapat pag-aralan din talaga. And so that's why I'm giving this feedback. Kung hindi pa naririnig ng ating LTFRB yan, na mga tricycle drivers sa Marikina na nakausap ko personal ang nagsasabing hindi pa sila nakakatanggap ng yung tinatawag na ayuda for the transportation sector. So,
and it's been months.
Yung LTFRB, kalampagin na po nila yung local government unit kasi I think ganun yung sistema nila. They cannot act pag walang sinabit na listahan. So, pakilusin na po yan.
Okay. Excise taxes. Should government reconsider suspending, for the meantime, excise taxes or even VAT on fuel prices?
Yes. kung ano nga yung pwedeng i-suspend. Challenge ko na yung DOE noon pa eh. DOE, alam naman ninyo lahat ng mga pinapataw na taxes and other costs sa importation of fuel. So, meron yung excise tax. Alisin na natin yan kahit temporarily. Tapos sa mga transactions over fuel, merong VAT. Tanggalin na rin natin yan kahit temporarily. Pero in the long term, gawin na nating lesson ito na siguro may mga bagay na hindi na dapat, may mga transactions na hindi na dapat binavat, may mga bagay na hindi na dapat linalagyan ng excise tax, kahit kumikita ang gobyerno. Kasi nga, they are used by the people every day. Hindi makakilos ang taong bayan eh, ang ordinary individual kung napakamahal po ng transportation cost, apektado lahat. So balik ulit sa executive branch, balik ulit yan sa entire government, that maybe if we need to forgo this type of revenue, kasi cash in supposed to be sa gobyerno yan eh. Ang ating panawagan is dapat the government learn to live without that cash flow. So siguro ang ending nito, medyo meron dapat tayong belt tightening na sa gobyerno na makikita natin sa budget. Nagbe-belt tightening tayo. Ibig sabihin yung budget hindi super taas, kung pwede ma-maintain lang, kung pwede bumaba pa. Ibig sabihin naka-identify tayo ng regular na gastusin natin or balak natin gastusan na pwede namang wag na muna ngayong taon, wag na muna sa darating na mga taon so that maka-afford tayo to let go of excise taxes on fuel and VAT proceeds from fuel transactions.
Senator, I want to clarify that. Are you pushing for a permanent suspension? Tanggalin na po ang VAT sa petroleum products, or are you saying to just temporarily suspend it for now?
Siyempre for now, so that it will be accepted more easily, temporary muna panawagan natin. But the study should be for long term. Long term kahit tanggalin na natin yan because it is so critical in our daily activities. It is so critical for us to be mobile so that we can move, di ba? We can move from one place to another. The vegetables can move from one place to another. The goods can also be transported. So kung ganyan siya ka-critical and we do not produce it, we do not have it, we are totally dependent on imports. So isang produkto ng ibang bansa yan, sila ang nagpipresyo niyan. Dollar pa ang presyo niyan, US dollar pa, na hindi natin din pera. Kino-convert pa rin natin yung pera natin sa US dollar. Yung exchange rate na yon, hindi rin natin kontrolado. So sa dami ng factors na ito at saka sa napaka critical nung good na yon, nung produkto na yon, baka the better policy is in the long term, wag na natin buwisan yung klaseng bagay na yan. Hence, lesser cash flow, papunta revenue for the government. Hence, si gobyerno mismo mag-analyze. Ano naman ang aking babawas-bawasan sa aking mga gastusin so that ma-adapt ko yung proposal na yon na wag na nating asahan ang revenue flow from excise taxes on petroleum products plus VAT on petroleum product transactions.
So both excise tax and VAT as well. Senator Koko Pimentel, we need to take a very short break. I understand what you're saying. Yung mawawalang revenue po doon, kailangan mag-adjust na lang yung budget doon sa forecast na revenue that will be supposed to be generated from the VAT and the excise taxes. All right, again, just a very short break. We will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, Senator Koko Pimentel. Quickly, I wanted to ask you about Farmally. Is it the end of the road for Farmally? You, along with 8 other senators, affixed your signature, but it did not muster enough votes for it to actually be taken up in plenary. And in fact, Senator Pimentel, about 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, 2 of those that were detained in the Pasay City Jail have been released. Are there any plans from you to reopen this in the 19th Congress? Opo, you and Senator Risa.
Senator Risa Ontiveros has a plan to revive the Farmally issue. in the Senate in the 19th Congress. And I think that can be done. Then, but that would be referred to the same committee, Senate Blue Ribbon, which will now be headed by a new senator. So the action of the chairman, we do not know. We cannot predict. But the attempt to revive it by refiling a resolution covering the same subject matter is possible.
Okay. And obviously, it's something you support?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Another resolution also that you had filed rather in the 18th Congress was an inquiry into the BIR for not being able to collect this supposed 200 billion pesos in taxes of the Marcoses. Is this something that you want to refile in the 19th Congress?
Yes. Yes, I will have to refile that because actually that is really directed to the BIR, for the BIR to explain. Tandaan natin na Pinky, no, na there are still people dying, ano ba? Death will continue to be with us, so therefore estates will have to be settled. So the BIR should explain why such a large estate has not been pressured to settle. So how about these small ones, the smaller ones, the medium-sized estates? So the BIR should give us very clear policy guidelines on what to do in the settlement of estates.
In aid of legislation?
Yes, because the settlement of estate is governed by the National Internal Revenue Code. So is there a weakness in some provision somewhere? They should point it out.
Well, you're a lawyer. Do you think there is certain weaknesses, or was this an exempt case, something that is, it's clear enough, except that there was not enough action done by the BIR? What are your thoughts?
Let us get the facts first from the BIR. Kasi I am sure here, ang feeling ko rito, the starting estate tax due was around 20 to 23 billion. So that might have been based on 100 billion estimate worth of the estate. So the question is, can the BIR execute their findings? So if the amount is not, if the amount has been determined by the BIR and the heirs will claim we do not have enough resources to pay or we do not want to pay, what is the next step that the BIR can take? Ang alam ko lang, ang penalty lang kasi dito sa pagkakaalam ko, not being a tax expert or an estate tax expert, you cannot transfer from the decedent. If a property is registered in the name of the decedent, yung namatay, you cannot transfer the registration to the heirs if the estate tax is not settled fully, or the BIR gives a clearance that the estate tax has been settled fully. So that's it. So is that what happened here? Was there a stalemate where properties in the name of Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Still, or are they still in the name of the decedent? So yun po yun. Or did the heirs find a way to transfer the registration to them? So we will have to ask all of these questions.
Okay, do you think that this will prosper in the 19th Congress, looking into possible improvements, legislation with regards to estate taxes in general?
Hindi ba dapat lang, as I think I can ask, request, and then convince the chairman of whoever he or she may be, siguro sa pwede ito sa Committee on Ways and Means, pwedeng joint din ito sa Blue Ribbon, because if there's a finding of any wrongdoing on the part of the government employees and government agency, the Blue Ribbon also can step in. Pero the topic, that in my opinion, the topic makes sense, because there will still be debts and estates need to be settled. We need to tell our people to follow the law and settle your estates properly. small estates up to very large estates, covered po ng batas yan.
Okay.
Wag mag-alala yung mga those with very small estates kasi meron namang exemption yung halaga eh. But you just need to file. So an estate tax return. Yun lang po sana yung hearing na yun, if it can help people understand itong estate tax system ng ating bansa, marami na po tayong natulungan.
Let's talk about how the 19th, or at least the 19th Congress, the minority will be looking in July, but we need to take a very short break. We will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, Senator Koko Pimentel. Again, let's talk about the 19th Congress now. Senator Pimentel, tell us more about the minority group. How is it shaping up?
It's very easy to organize the minority because we will be very few.
Yeah, so you have Senator Koko, you have Senator Risa Ontiveros. Sino pa ho? Kasama niyo na ho ba si Senator Chi, si Senator Alan, and Pia Cayetano?
Okay, being optimistic lang as a member of the minority, and let us say I want to be optimistic. So the minority can still consist of the following. So we have Senator Risa Ontiveros, myself, then probably the two Cayetanos, Pia and Alan, and really being super optimistic, we might even get Cheese Escudero. So five out of 24. That's the maximum I think that we can get.
Yeah, but that if you get 5, that's even better than the 18th Congress.
That's why I needed to qualify my statement. I'm being very I'll add another very optimistic.
Okay. Sabi mo nga, I think you tweeted about this, that if you get all of them at a very optimistic train of thought, 5 ho yung lawyers sa 19th Congress out of the 24, and 4 will be part of the minority. Tama ho ba?
6 lawyers, Pinky. And then
okay.
And then there are 6 lawyers, and then if 4 will belong to the minority, wow, that is a formidable minority.
Malakas na minority yan. So who's going to be the minority floor leader? Is it you or Senator Risa Ontiveros?
No, it's we cannot really determine as of now, Pinky. That's because that is the last group to be organized. Actually, you can only know the membership or composition of that minority group after the SP, the Senate President, has been elected. Because, well, technically, we will consider as minority all those who did not vote for the Senate President, all those who did not participate in the voting for the Senate President. So it is only after that vote that then we will look around and find out who these people are, and then we have now to meet who is our minority leader.
But that's the point I'm trying to make, sir. You look around and you pretty much know who members of the minority will be. Ikaw nga, meron ka ng very optimistic eh. So while I understand that a Senate President must be elected, those who did not vote for him or was on the negative or on the neutral, how I understand it, will form part of the minority. But isn't it a little bit of the obvious already? Sino yung hindi boboto sa likely Senate President na si Mig Zubiri?
Well, let's just play with this scenario. If ever it will only be the two of us, Senator Risa and myself, then we have agreed that she will nominate me or she will vote for me as minority leader.
I see. Okay. Meron na ho ba kayong committee? Because in the 18th Congress, you were the chairman of the Trade and Foreign Relations.
Correct. If I become minority leader, I do not need to have a committee because I'm automatically a member of all the committees. And then I asked Senator Miggs before we went on a break if he will give minority member Risa Ontiveros a committee. And sabi niya, yes, I will give her the Senate Committee on Women, Children, and Family Relations.
Right.
So I think Senator Risa will be happy with that committee.
Right. Just as a last siguro issue with regards to the cabinet appointees of the Marcos administration, the latest of which are Professor Clarita Carlos as National Security Advisor and former Congressman Estrella for DAR. Are there cabinet members that you are concerned about na para po sa inyo not much of a fit, you're not too happy with, and on the flip side, who among them are you optimistic that can do a very good job?
We will be concerned about all of them. Okay, being in the minority, that will be our role, not because of fitness or competence, but we will await the report of the Commission on Appointments investigation teams. And we will go over the report that the CA will give us. And we will also ask around. Pwede naman po yung ganon. We can ask around as to the competence of these people, and we can also research their track record in the sense of past decisions in past positions.
But right now, have you had any research on any one of them that's causing concern for you?
Ongoing pa naman, Pinky. So it will be divulged. Whatever we find out or whatever grave concern that we have will be divulged during the confirmation hearings of these nominees, Pinky.
By the Commission on Appointments?
Yes, by the Commission on Appointments, the CA.
And so, sino pong miyembro ng CA?
Wala pa. That will be determined July, 4th Monday of July. But since the Senate sends a 12-member delegation to the Commission on Appointments. So since there are 24 senators, you just need to look for a partner. Basta mag-partner lang kayo. Kasi 24 divided by 2 equals 12, di ba? So if you have a partner, then you and your partner will have one seat in the CA. So since Senator Risa Ontiveros and I have decided to group together, we will definitely, or we should have one seat in the CA. So yeah. it could be Senator Risa.
Okay, any one of you for now. Kasi yes, for now, dalawa pa lang kayong sigurado. Senator Koko Pimentel, sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Anytime. And happy birthday again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.